Section 9.5 talks about law of sines, and section 9.6 talks about law of cosines. Both the law of sines and the law of cosines are used in non-right triangles. Your sides are still labeled basically the same. You label an angle, the side is across from it. So if you do an angle in standard position here, you have angle A, side A, angle B, side B, angle C, side C. The law of sines says you can take the side measurement, divide it by the sine of that particular angle, and you can set up ratios. So A over sine A is equal to B over sine B is equal to C over sine C. So you're only using two at a time, and when you decide which ones you're going to pick, you need to know one of everything on one complete ratio. So for instance, given side C is 6, angle A is 60 degrees, angle B is 40 degrees, you want to find side A, side B, and angle C. First thing you can do is get angle C, because the sum of the angles is 180 degrees. So angle C would be 180 minus 60 minus 40, so angle C is 80 degrees. Now I need a side and an angle. Here we know side C and angle C, so I'm going to use that along with one of the other ratios. So side C over sine of C equals side A over sine of A. When I put my numbers in, side C was 6, angle C was 80, so 6 over sine 80 equals side A, which I'm looking for, and I know angle A is 60, so sine of 60. Cross multiplying to solve this, so I get 6 times the sine of 60 equals little a times the sine of 80. Divide both sides by sine of 80 to isolate the a, so you get 6 sine 60 divided by sine 80. Sine of 60 is 0.866, sine of 80 is 0.985, so when you take 6 times 0.866 equals and then divide it by 0.985, you get side A is 5.28. Now I'm going to do the same setup to find side B. So C over sine C equals B over sine B. So 6 over sine 80 equals B over sine 40. So again, I cross multiply. 6 times sine of 40 equals B times sine 80. Divide both sides by sine 80. I get 6 sine 40 divided by sine 80 is equal to side B. Sine of 40 is 0.643. The sine of 80 is 0.895 or 0.985. So 6 times 0.643 divided by 0.985 gives me side B of 3.92. The law of cosines. The law of cosines says a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine A, or if you're looking for angle A, it's inverse cosine of a squared minus b squared minus c squared divided by minus 2bc. B squared is equal to a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine B, or angle B, again reworking these equations, is equal to inverse cosine b squared minus a squared minus c squared divided by negative 2ac. C squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine C. Reworking this one to solve it for angle C, inverse cosine c squared minus a squared minus b squared divided by minus 2ab. So for this particular problem, you're given A is 11, C is 6, angle B is 96.3 degrees. So I'm going to use the law of cosines to find first side B. So side B is b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine B. Plug my numbers in. A was 11, so 11 squared. C was 6, so 6 squared, minus 2 times ac, so that's 2 times 11 times 6, cosine of B, which is 96.3. So 11 squared is 121, 6 squared is 36, 2 times 11 times 6 is 132, but still a subtract. When I take the cosine of 96.3, that gives me a negative 0.1097. So a negative 132 times a negative 0.1097 gives me positive 14.48. So I'm taking 121, I'm adding 36, and I'm adding 14.48, which gives me b squared is equal to 135.84. To solve it for b, I have to take the square root of both sides. So b is equal to the square root of 135.84, which is going to give me 11.66, or if I round it to one place, 11.7. So that's my side b. Now I want to find angle C. Well, the formula for angle C is inverse cosine c squared minus a squared minus b squared divided by negative 2ab. So C was 6, so 6 squared minus 11 squared. B now is 11.7, so minus 11.7 squared. Minus 2 times A, that's 11, times B is 11.7. So 6 squared is 36, 11 squared is 121. 11.7 squared is 136.89. Divided by negative 257.4. So I take 36, I subtract 121, I subtract 136.89, and I get a negative 221.89. I divide that by a negative 257.4. I get a positive 0.8620, so inverse cosine of that gives me an angle measurement of 30.5. To get angle A, I can just use the sum of the angles as 180, so I take 180 minus 30.5 minus 96.36, and angle A comes out to 53.2.